Do you remember when the 1980s weren't just about loud rock concerts and blockbuster movies, but about pushing the limits of speed like never before? Back then, Suzuki, Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki, and BMW weren't just building motorcycles. They were waging a full-on arms race to see who could claim the title of the world's fastest production bike. These weren't just machines, they were works of art, dangerous temptations, and technological marvels that broke every rule in the book. We're talking electronic fuel injection, aluminum frames, 5-valve heads, things that sounded like science fiction at the time. Today we're rolling back the years to rediscover 12 of the fastest, most daring, and often forgotten motorcycles of that wild decade. Even if you've never swung a leg over one, you'll want to stick around, because these bikes didn't just chase speed, they defined an era. So, settle in and let's hit the road together. Number 12, 1981, Suzuki GSX750 Katana. Back in 1981, Suzuki didn't just release another motorcycle, they unleashed a statement. The Katana wasn't designed to blend in. It looked like something out of a sci-fi movie with razor-sharp lines that earned it the nickname of a samurai's blade on two wheels. Styled by Hans Muth, the former BMW design chief, the Katana broke every styling rule of its time. While other bikes stayed rounded and conservative, this one had a bold, aggressive stance that turned heads at every stoplight. Some riders loved it immediately, others thought it was just too much. But no one ignored it. Underneath that striking bodywork sat a 747 cubic centimeter, air-cooled inline-4, cranking out about 82 horsepower, good for speeds around 135 miles per hour. That was serious performance for a production bike back then, especially considering it weighed over 500 pounds. But the Katana wasn't just about speed, it was a preview of the future, laying the groundwork for the modern sport bike era. Today it's a cult classic, celebrated not only for its raw performance, but for having the guts to stand out and redefine what a motorcycle could be. If you remember seeing one of these in the showroom, you know it wasn't just a bike. It was a revolution on wheels. Number 11, 1984, Yamaha FJ1000. By 1984, Yamaha saw that riders didn't just want speed, they wanted freedom to roam without sacrificing performance. Enter the FJ1100, the bike that defined the sport touring class before most people even knew what that meant. Yamaha didn't hold back. They gave it a 1,097 cubic centimeter air-cooled inline-4, delivering around 125 horsepower, pushing this machine to about 140 miles per hour. Incredible numbers for the time. But what really set it apart wasn't just raw speed, it was the balance. The FJ1100 featured a lightweight aluminum frame for sharp handling, adjustable front forks for comfort, and a roomy, cushioned two-up seat that meant you didn't have to leave your partner behind. This was a bike built not just for blasts down the highway runs, but for long-distance adventures across open country. It earned a reputation for rock-solid reliability and stable high-speed cruising, something older riders especially valued on those endless stretches of American highway. The FJ1010 didn't just go fast, it went far, comfortably. And for many, it became the gold standard for sport touring, paving the way for icons like the FJ1200 and later the FZR750. It wasn't just a motorcycle, it was your ticket to explore America at 140 miles per hour. Number 10, 1983 Kawasaki GPZ1100. If there was ever a bike that proved technology and brute power could ride side by side, it was the 1983 Kawasaki GPZ1100. Back then, this machine wasn't just fast. It was a technological pioneer that signaled a new era in motorcycle engineering. The GPZ1010 was among the first production motorcycles to feature electronic fuel injection, a breakthrough that made carburetors look old-fashioned overnight. With its 1,089 cubic centimeter DOHC inline-4, it produced around 120 horsepower, rocketing this Kawasaki to a top speed of about 142 miles per hour, numbers that would make any rider's heart race in the early 80s. But this wasn't just about straight-line speed. Kawasaki gave it a sleek aerodynamic fairing, upgraded suspension, and dual front disc brakes that delivered precise control even at highway speeds. Riders quickly discovered this bike felt as confident carving up twisty back roads as it did blasting down the interstate. Some folks called it the street machine, and it lived up to the name, dominating highways and serving as the spiritual father to the legendary Ninja lineup. If you ever saw one parked at the diner, you knew whoever owned it meant business. The GPZ1010 wasn't just another superbike. It was proof that Japanese engineering was evolving faster than anyone could keep up with. Number 9, 1984, BMW K100RS. While the Japanese brands were locked in a horsepower arms race, BMW took a very German approach, precision engineering and cool, calculated performance. Enter the 1984 BMW K100RS, a machine that didn't just chase speed. It redefined sport touring for an entire continent. At the heart of this bike was the famous flying brick engine, a 987 cubic centimeter, liquid-cooled, fuel-injected inline-4 mounted horizontally. It delivered around 90 horsepower and could reach about 137 miles per hour. That might not sound outrageous next to its Japanese rivals, but BMW's magic was in how it delivered that speed, smooth, stable, and unflappable. This was one of the first motorcycles to offer ABS, nearly unheard of in the early 80s. That commitment to safety didn't sacrifice performance. The K100RS had a solid chassis, BMW's unique monolever rear suspension, and wind-cheating aerodynamic fairings that made high-speed touring feel almost effortless. Riders who bought one weren't chasing lap records. They wanted to cross entire countries in style and comfort, with that unmistakable European flair. Today, the K100RS stands as a turning point in BMW's motorcycle history, proving that high-speed touring could be refined, safe, and still thrilling as hell. Number 8, 1984 Honda V F1000R. If there was ever a bike that brought the racetrack straight to Main Street, it was the 1984 Honda V F1000R. This wasn't just a fast motorcycle. It was Honda's declaration that endurance racing tech didn't have to stay locked behind pit walls. Under the bodywork was a 998 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled V4 engine pushing about 117 horsepower, good for speeds around 145 miles per hour. But it wasn't just the numbers that impressed riders, it was the gear-driven camshafts. Instead of traditional chains, Honda used precision-cut gears, giving the engine a distinctive mechanical whine that sounded like pure racing pedigree. Everything about the VF1000R screamed serious business. It had full aerodynamic fairings, a rigid steel frame, and even early inverted front forks for sharper handling. This was cutting-edge stuff for the mid-80s. But it came with a price. It was heavy, tipping the scales close to 600 pounds, and expensive. A bike that only the most dedicated riders were willing to master. For those who wanted to own a piece of Honda's racing legacy, though, nothing else came close. Even today, the VF1000R is remembered as a no-compromise machine that let you taste the thrill of endurance racing every time you twisted the throttle. Number 7, 1985 Suzuki GSXR750. By 1985, Suzuki decided it wasn't enough to just borrow racing technology. They wanted to sell you a race bike you could actually ride on the street. That's exactly what they did with the GSXR750, a machine that didn't just bend the rules, it rewrote them entirely. At its heart was a 749 cubic centimeter inline 4, producing about 100 horsepower, pushing the GSXR to a top speed near 147 miles per hour. But the real magic wasn't just power, it was weight. This bike tipped the scales at just 388 pounds dry. That was astonishingly light for the era, giving riders a level of agility and responsiveness they'd never felt before. Suzuki's engineers didn't stop there. They gave it a twin-spar aluminum frame, borrowed straight from racing design, and wrapped it in sleek, aerodynamic fairings that cut through the wind like a scalpel. Dual disc brakes up front meant it stopped as confidently as it went. Riders called it the first race replica for the average guy, and they weren't wrong. The GSXR750 made true sport bike performance accessible to anyone brave enough to twist the throttle. It didn't just launch a new model, it kickstarted an entire era, changing what riders expected from a sport bike forever. Number 6, 1987, Yamaha FZR1000 Genesis. When Yamaha unveiled the FZR1000 Genesis, it wasn't just another fast bike, it was a bold declaration of intent. They wanted to show the world how advanced a production sport bike could truly be, and they succeeded brilliantly. Under the sleek fairings lay a 989 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled inline-4 engine with Yamaha's revolutionary 5-valve per cylinder design. That innovation delivered around 135 horsepower and let the Genesis roar to 158 miles per hour, putting it squarely among the fastest bikes you could buy at the time. But Yamaha didn't stop at raw power. The Delta Box aluminum frame was a true marvel, lightweight yet exceptionally rigid, giving riders laser-precise handling. Paired with premium suspension and dual front disc brakes, it offered an unmatched sense of control, whether you were hitting sweeping highways or carving tight back roads. Riders and reviewers alike quickly recognized the Genesis as something special. It wasn't just built for straight-line speed, it was designed to excel everywhere, earning its reputation as the first real, all-around sport bike. If you ever swung a leg over one, you didn't just feel fast, you felt like you were riding the future. Number 5, 1988, Bimota YB4 EI. Few bikes capture the spirit of handcrafted Italian artistry, quite like the 1988 Bimota YB4 EI. This wasn't mass production, it was motorcycle sculpture, built for riders who demanded something truly extraordinary. Inside its stunning bodywork beat a 749 cubic centimeter inline-4 borrowed from Yamaha's FZ750. But Bimota didn't just slap it in and call it a day. They tuned and refined it to perfection, delivering around 112 horsepower and pushing this sleek machine to a top speed near 160 miles per hour. That was impressive on its own, but even more remarkable was the weight. At just over 400 pounds dry, it was a featherweight fighter ready to dance on any twisty road. But the YB4 EI wasn't just about numbers. It featured one of the earliest uses of electronic fuel injection on a street bike, a rarity in the 80s, and a custom aluminum frame with welds so clean they were practically art. Every curve, every detail was designed for performance and beauty in equal measure. Production was extremely limited, making it a dream acquisition for collectors even today. Owning a YB4 EI wasn't about simply riding. It was about possessing a piece of motorcycle history, a rolling testament to Italian passion and precision engineering. Number 4, 1987 Honda CBR1000F Hurricane. They didn't call it the Hurricane for nothing. When Honda rolled out the CBR1000F in 1987, they wanted to show that speed and sophistication could go hand in hand. No need for brute force alone. Powering this machine was a 998 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled inline-4, pushing around 132 horsepower, enough to carry it to a top speed of about 161 miles per hour. But Honda didn't just chase raw numbers. They delivered a bike that felt buttery smooth, even when you were hard on the throttle. One of its most striking features was the revolutionary one-piece full fairing. Unlike the bolt-on panels of older bikes, this design was sleek and aerodynamic, reducing drag and giving the Hurricane its signature flowing look. It wasn't just for show. It kept the bike planted and stable at high speeds while offering wind protection for those long touring rides. Underneath, the strong steel frame, well-tuned suspension, and dual disc brakes delivered a confidence-inspiring ride, whether you were carving canyons or cruising cross-country. For many riders, the CBR1000F wasn't just a superbike. It was proof that performance didn't have to be rough around the edges. It was Honda's promise that you could have speed, comfort, and style all in one unforgettable package. Number 3, 1986. Kawasaki GPZ1000RX. If you wanted to own the world's fastest production bike in 1986, Kawasaki had the answer with their formidable GPZ1000RX. This wasn't just a motorcycle. It was a monster designed to dominate any stretch of pavement it touched. Under the fairings lurked a 997 cubic centimeter DOHC inline-4, cranking out about 125 horsepower, enough to rocket it to a breathtaking 165 miles per hour, making it the quickest production bike on the planet at the time. Riders who twisted the throttle weren't just going for a ride, they were unleashing something truly ferocious. Its styling carried those unmistakable early ninja lines, with aggressive fairings that sliced through the wind, and a riding position that dared you to go faster. The solid chassis and refined suspension gave it surprising stability, even at speeds that would make lesser bikes wobble in terror. But this king didn't rule forever. Just 1 year later, Kawasaki introduced the Ninja ZX10, even lighter, faster, and more advanced, pushing the GPZ1000RX into the shadows. Still, for anyone who remembers the moment it arrived in showrooms, the GPZ1000RX wasn't just fast. It was a bold statement that Kawasaki wasn't afraid to chase the title of world's fastest with everything they had. Number 2, 1989, Yamaha FZR750 R01. For riders who wanted something straight off the race grid, Yamaha delivered the FZR750 R01 in 1989. This wasn't just another superbike. It was a homologation special, purpose-built so Yamaha could compete and win in the World Superbike Championship. Under the fairings, beat a 749 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled inline-4 with Yamaha's famous 5-valve per cylinder design, producing about 121 horsepower. That might not sound earth-shattering next to 1000cc monsters, but thanks to its incredibly low weight, just 407 pounds dry, it could reach an astonishing 167 miles per hour. This bike wasn't just fast for its size, it was blisteringly quick, period. But what really made the OW01 special was its race-bred engineering. It featured the premium Delta Box aluminum frame for unmatched rigidity, Brembo brakes for serious stopping power, and a close-ratio gearbox that kept the engine in its sweet spot on every shift. Yamaha only produced around 500 units worldwide, making it one of the most sought-after collector's items in sport bike history. Owning an OW01 wasn't about posing, it was about living the racer's dream, with a machine that didn't just hint at the track, it belonged there. Number 1, 1989. Suzuki GSXR1100. Closing out the decade with unapologetic ferocity, the 1989 Suzuki GSXR1100 was the very definition of raw, unfiltered power on two wheels. It wasn't just Suzuki's flagship, it was their statement to the entire motorcycling world. More is better. Underneath its aggressive fairings lay a 1,127 cubic centimeter air and oil-cooled inline-4, cranking out an astonishing 143 horsepower, enough to push it past 170 miles per hour, making it the fastest production motorcycle you could buy at the time. Riders didn't just go fast, they broke speed limits that felt downright illegal, but it wasn't all about brute force. The GSXR1010 featured a twin-spar aluminum frame that was both light and strong, giving riders the confidence to push it hard through twisty back roads or down the quarter-mile strip. Oversized dual front disc brakes delivered stopping power that matched its monstrous acceleration. This bike quickly earned its reputation not just on the street, but in drag racing and track days, where it became a true legend. For many riders, the GSXR1100 wasn't just a motorcycle. It was the ultimate expression of an era when horsepower ruled. Rules were meant to be broken, and every ride was an adrenaline rush waiting to happen. And there you have it, 12 legendary machines that didn't just chase speed in the 1980s, but redefined what motorcycles could be. These weren't just bikes, they were dreams on two wheels, each one breaking rules, pushing limits, and leaving behind stories worth telling. Which of these classics caught your eye the most? Did you ever own one, ride one, or just long to feel that power under you? We'd love to hear your memories and thoughts in the comments below, because sharing those stories is how we keep the spirit alive. If you enjoyed this ride through motorcycle history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you won't miss out on our next journey. There's still a long road ahead, full of legendary machines, hidden gems, and timeless adventures just waiting to be discovered. And we'd be honored to share them with you.